Good day and welcome, America and beyond. Patriotism in action, putting America first, New World Order dead last, Constitution Corner. This is a mini report on the eve of the great or not so great GOP political debate. Now, there are several things I want to get to, and of course, we'll give you the political scorecard. We'll tell you who scored points and what the takeaways will be, the winners, the losers, and who potentially will be the next drop off or drop out. And is this make or break for Michelle Bachmann? It may very well indeed. How about Sarah Palin still waiting in the wings? Now, I don't like this creepy reporter, and I don't like the gossipy tell all kinds of books, but I guess if you put your life out there as a patron saint, and if you play this holier than thou role, and you also are a commentator, a pundit, and a critic who critiques others, and you're making lots of money and lots of notoriety, well, you're in the public spotlight. You're part of that spectacle, and you are fair game. Now, it has to be truthful, and there are laws relating to slander and libel. So she'll have to take this the legal route if indeed it's required or necessary. But nevertheless, I think that she knew these skeletons were coming out. And again, I don't know how many of them are accurate or partially correct, but I think there's enough dirt here, and I think there's enough smoke, maybe not complete fire, that she realized. Now, I could be proved wrong. She could say, in spite of maybe a possible marital breakup, in spite of the hillbilly Jerry Springer type family, and her faux pas and her missteps in life, that she still feels that it is necessary, or maybe she feels compelled, a calling, if you will, to get in. But I don't think so, and I have stuck by those prognostications all along. Now, I have predicted, if you missed the last report or two, I have come to a different, and I don't even know if I should use the word conclusion, because I mean, this is still very early on. But the way things are shaping up now, if I were to handicap this, if I were to be a forecaster, the political prognosticator, I would have to say that Mitt Romney has been schooled. Mitt Romney has learned from his 2008 blunders. And I think that he has become a more savvy and skilled public speaker and candidate. I'm not saying that he's not a flip-flopper and a hypocrite. Of course he is. And quite frankly, he's taken on the Reagan mantle of being a great actor, because he didn't do so well acting, and he was a backbiter and a sniper and short-tempered and thin-skinned candidate. And I don't think Perry's going to catch on quickly enough, and I don't think he's going to be able to recover enough from the mortal blows, those impacts, punches. And these were impactful, sustained punches, body blows, if you will, that set him back. So I'd have to say that I believe Mitt Romney is going to be the next president of the United States. I'm not predicting it because I want it or I like it. I don't. I mean, if I had to pick among all the candidates that are known candidates, I would have to pick Ron Paul. Not because he's clearly the most competent, and not that I agree with him in every position, but he's the only candidate that at least expresses consistently a view of freedom and liberty and less interference and intervention in other people's affairs and other countries' affairs. But nevertheless, I have my misgivings, and I've talked to you about that before. So let me get on with some of the headlines during this mini report. Now, this is a fairly new story for Thursday, the 22nd of September. And it says Tea Party, meaning all the aspects, or all, the different branches or divisions, of the Tea Party movement. It says still looking for a favorite among the GOP contenders. Despite Texas Governor Rick Perry's front-runner status, the Tea Party faithful have yet to settle on a front-runner and will closely be watching tonight's debate, which could go a long way towards determining who their standard bearer will be in 2012. Leaders of Tea Party Express, Tea Party Patriots, and Freedom Works are all saying it is too soon to call Perry a frontrunner as it relates to the movement's support. And it's still too early to tell. And tonight should be very interesting, says the Tea Party Express chairperson, Amy Kramer, as she told Newsmax. The field is still wide open, and it's too early to count anybody out yet. Kramer points out that, there's not much more here, but basically they're saying they're still open-minded, they're still scrutinizing, they're still reviewing, and if you missed the previous reports, my radio reports, one of the more recent ones, I did the breakdown of the last debate, which was Tea Party Express, CNN, GOP political debate, and I said clearly Michelle Bachmann won. I don't think there's any question. Romney came in second, and I guess you'd have to put either Perry. I think it was kind of a tie between. I don't know. I guess I think I'd put Herman Cain, and I think I would have to put Newt Gingrich above Perry. Now, I'm not sure if I did that in the last time I evaluated, but I know the 1-2 I had exactly right and haven't wavered as I reflected back on that last debate. Rick Santorum, he's just kind of someone that's snipping from the almost like from the outside looking in. And Gingrich is shown a very quick wit and intellect, but he's not likable. So he's unlikely as a front runner, and is unlikely, but he could sneak in. You never know in America. Johnny McShane, Bob Dole. But I think that Mitt Romney has been able to absorb any of the body blows early on in the debates when he was the alleged front runner until Perry's entry into the race. And I think he's handling it with dignity and grace. I have little or no respect for him. Just like I said about Savage overlooking all the fatal flaws. If you're about borders, language, and culture, there's no way that you could be in favor of Rick Perry. It's an impossibility. So, unfortunately, and Perry won't even go on Savage's program. Bachmann stopped going on. Trump didn't return. He's the third most listened to radio host. Now, I have to say, as interesting and as compelling as the program can be, okay, you write a book, and it's fictional, and it might even have just sort of like when Laura Ingraham writes certain books like that, and she can get her little zingers in. But every day, I don't want to hear about it. Just like I don't want to hear about Great Britain and your banning. Now, I love hearing about you beating up and berating Fox News, the Fox Follies. I think that's interesting. But that's just my opinion. That's my perspective, my view. By the way, word has come to me that there's these bemoaners out there that thought, apparently, unlike the Elton John song, I'm Still Standing After All These Years, that if I take a step back, or I take a breather, or that I regroup, that somehow, some way, they think I'm out of radio, or maybe they think they've run me out of radio. And one of our terrific venues that allows us to stream in a way that we can actually, reach new people is TalkStream Live, the great integrator of all things talk radio. And so it's come to my attention that there's complaints that how could this program be running? Now, this network has half their programming is podcast that are pre-recorded programs, whether it be a Tex Mars, who I like, and I told you that for the most part I think he's right on, but he does isolate one group and thinks that one group and is got a complete monopoly on the conspiracy. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. But you have many programs that are paid programs that are just audio files sent and played, and then you have the replays, and even the so-called girlfriend with the big blonde hair, she actually says one program is live, the other program and it's more of the same, is pre-recorded. So I think it's kind of interesting when people say they're for speech and it's for American voice, and then they want us, quell the conversation. They want to silence one's voice. They want, and I've seen this a lot in the so-called freedom, patriot, constitutional truth movements, that there are certain people that they want a monopoly on truth. They want a monopoly on dissemination of truth. And I won't allow for it. And now there is not a dang thing that anybody can do to silence me, because I have my own record studio. I have my own stream. I totally control and dictate the production, the distribution, the content. And so I am a free spirit. I am a free thinker, and I have a free voice in this matter. So that's pretty darn exciting, if you ask me. Now, how are we doing on time here? Because, quite frankly, I do want to watch the debate, and I want to bring you a more extensive report, and I plan to do that, but I just wanted to share with you some of my thoughts. And thank you, those of you that tuned in last night, and we had two editions of the streamed broadcast. We had, and I have two great affiliate partners, and those affiliated partners happen to be the Talk Superstation and Z Talk Radio. So on Wednesdays now, we broadcast or stream this program from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern in conjunction with the good folks at the Talk Superstation. Now remember, if you hear me saying, wait a minute, doesn't he mean TalkStream Live? Yeah, TalkStream Live is that dynamic directory. The Talk Superstation is an internet affiliated radio network. And we both use, just like many others, many program stations, networks, use, that as a dynamic directory to be listed and to stream with and through, just like we do. And so again, I want to thank Bill Fries and TalkStream Live. I want to thank the Talk Superstation DJ. And we had matter of fact, we were right behind. No, we weren't that closely behind, but we ended up number 3 in that time slot, behind two giants in the radio terrestrial world, and that's Savage and Levin. Now at night, we did very well. Matter of fact, the program ended up at number 2. Sometimes we even hit number 1 late night from 10 p.m. Eastern to 1 a.m. So we do 3 hours of streaming the program, 2 of those hours in conjunction with Z Talk Radio, cutting edge radio. So we are really, we feel honored and privileged to be working with them. But again, it's a relationship where, they want to work with me. They want this program, these reports, to be aired through their network. And so it's a great thing. It's not about control. It's not about, it's more about patriotism and freedom and allowing me to freely express, to freely be me. And I appreciate that. In the past, I have to admit, I was looking to garner as many outlets as possible. And I'm open to any outlet that's legit, that really cares about the message and the mission, and even the messenger to some extent, and be happy to work with them. But in the past, I'd say, let me see if I just wanted to keep adding. And sometimes it's the quality, not the quantity, because we have enough outlets, enough ways, Matter of fact, the way we stream this program, we essentially have unlimited capacity. It's almost like saying we can extend the bleachers, so there's no problem with that. So I'm really happy to report that. Those of you that want to follow me on Twitter, make sure that you click on the icon at TomDonahueReports.com, TomDonahueReports.com. You can follow me and link with me at LinkedIn, Facebook, of course. So all those things are available to you there, and I hope that you will join me in any and all social media endeavors. Help us spread the word. Those of you that subscribe to the podcast, have you told others? It's free. Have you told others it can be delivered to their email inbox? Do you actually copy and paste the link and send it to others? Have you thought about the possibility of embedding the code to our Podomatic player? It's almost like a stream in a way, and it's like you can easily have those archives available on your website. So that's another way to spread the word. TomDonahue.podomatic.com, or click on the embedded player or on the archives page, and those things are there and available to you. We do have the resources page. Check out all the news and information on those. All you got to do is click through on those banners on the resource page. Okay, let me skip on back. Do I want to cover that? I don't know if I mentioned this or not. I mean, of course, we talked about 9/11, and of course, we covered. I think I tweeted this, but it said the rise of the truth in quotations. An article that was published by Slate Internet magazine, and Slate works in conjunction with MSNBC and NBC and GE. But it says, how did the 9/11 conspiracism enter the mainstream? And it breaks down all the different reasons why they think all these things came into play. And of course, they call it paranoia. But I didn't get a chance to, and what I'm going to do, and this article is written by Jeremy Stahl. It's called The Rise of Truth in Quotations. How did 9/11 conspiracism? I never heard that word before. Interesting terminology. Conspiracism enter the mainstream. So when I have more time, I will go into the details of that article. Now, there was a poll that asked how many people, I guess they were polling people to see how many thought that the United States government played a role. That there was a governmental conspiracy in 9/11. Do you know that a third of the American population, 1/3, say yes, indeed, they do believe that. So in the event that I didn't mention that, I wanted to tell you that, and this poll was done by Scripps News Service, and no, actually, well, it was Scripps in conjunction with Howard and Ohio universities. So a third of the American adult population, based on polling data, and some people are not going to admit to that. They're going to keep it to themselves. But if a third of the American populace is willing to admit that they believe that there was a governmental conspiracy as it relates to 9/11 and being an inside job, that's huge numbers. I mean, the JFK assassination conspiracy and cover-up is well above 80% now. Every year it rises, so at some point it's going to be above 90%. I don't know who those knuckleheads are unless they all work for government, and they're all part of the banking establishment, or all part of those families or those networks that had that consensus that it was time to execute the chief executive of the United States of America, the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. So, so these are some of the things I want to get to in the next report. I'm Tom Donahue for Tom Donahue Reports. May God bless you and God bless this great country. Until we meet again, have a great night. Enjoy the debate. And check us out, please, at TomDonahueReports.com. It's TomDonahueReports.com. Patriotism in action, putting America first.